Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're unpacking a guide that could really shift how you think about family safety, especially now.
It's a complex world out there.
It really is. We're diving into a secure sanctuary guide by Max B, specifically pulling out insights from his section on 5 critical security details every family must know, especially when traveling or living in, well, potentially higher risk areas. Now, first look, you might think, okay, this is for, families with international life, maybe high net worth, public figure.
Right, the obvious targets.
Exactly. But here's the thing. The risks he talks about, cyberstalking, physical surveillance, even just like oversharing on social media, opportunistic crime.
They're broader now.
Way broader. They're evolving, sometimes coordinated, often invisible until it's frankly too late. They can hit anyone with a digital footprint or just a predictable routine.
Yeah.
So think of this deep dive as building a sort of invisible shield for your family, no matter your situation.
And I think what's really key in Max B's whole philosophy is this idea that true luxury, it isn't the five-star hotel or the private jet.
Right.
It's peace of mind. It's really knowing your family is protected. So our goal today is basically to pull out those useful nuggets of knowledge.
Okay.
Help you understand the risks, but more importantly, see the principles you can actually use.
All right, let's get into it. Building that shield, the first critical detail. Securing your home like it's a high-value asset.
Which it is, really.
Absolutely. The guide gives this pretty striking example. A family in southern Spain, beautiful villa, CCTV, fences, seemed secure.
Looks apart.
Totally. But they were breached by an insider, a groundskeeper they'd recently hired. He let someone in.
Wow.
And the really chilling part, they only found out because digital activity was traced back to a hidden device someone planted in the study.
Oof. That hits home. It's not always the front gate, is it?
Not at all.
And that scenario, it really underscores a core principle.
Ah.
You've got to watch for internal threats. The advice there is pretty clear. Background checks. Thorough ones. For everyone. Staff, sure, but also third-party contractors. Anyone getting access. The guide puts it bluntly. Your gardener may be your weakest link vet. Everyone.
That's a memorable line.
It is. And beyond vetting, think about visibility inside. Motion-triggered cameras, but maybe in less obvious places. Service corridors, back entrances.
Sure.
And while, a full panic room with its own air and comms might sound extreme.
Yeah, maybe for most people.
Right. But the underlying idea, having a designated safe spot in your home, pre-planned, equipped for emergencies, that's practical for anyone.
Okay.
And one last thing for folks with regular help. Rotate schedules. Even small changes. It disrupts patterns, makes it much harder for outsiders to predict who's coming and going and when.
Right, breaking that predictability. Okay, so home secure, but then you step outside. That brings us to detail number 2, safe transit, driveway to destination.
A vulnerable time.
Very. The guide has this. Well, it's a harrowing story. Monaco. A child nearly abducted at school pickup. Yeah. A car blocks the driveway, driver pretends to be security, tries to rush the kid into their car, the real security. They showed up just 1 minute late.
1 minute.
That's all that saved them. A terrifyingly narrow escape.
And that just slams home the point, doesn't it? Predictability. It's the attacker's best friend.
So the advice has to be about breaking that.
Absolutely. Never follow a fixed schedule. Mix up pickup times, routes. The guide says never take the same route twice in a week.
Okay, for most listeners, maybe that's not always feasible, but the principle.
The principle is variation. Park on the other side of the street. Take a different way to the supermarket sometimes. It's about awareness. And having an escape plan in mind, even if it's just knowing the side streets.
Makes sense. What about the professional stuff, like train drivers, hardened cars?
Yeah, security drivers trained in defensive, even offensive driving, run flat tires, reinforced glass. That's critical for certain profiles, obviously.
Right.
But the takeaway for everyone, make your car a harder target. Keep doors locked. Look around before you get in or out. Avoid distractions, phone down.
Basic situational awareness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And route assessments. Even if it's just you mentally clocking, oh, there's construction here, or that van's been parked there a while, staying alert.
Okay, so building on protecting the vulnerable, what about kids at school or activities? That's a huge worry for parents.
It is. And the guide brings up this concerning case, a private school in London. It was actually being used as a surveillance point.
The school itself, how?
Individuals were tracking a child from a wealthy family. And the really eye-opening part, photos posted by other parents on social media.
Oh, inadvertently helping them.
Precisely. Show the child's routine, their activities, even like the car they were picked up in.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that our digital footprint isn't just ours, is it?
Wow, no, it affects everyone connected.
Which points to a need for sort of collective digital hygiene and clear communication. The advice includes really looking at the school security.
Asking questions.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to ask, what are the access logs? Visitor policies? For families needing extra layers, a coded pickup system helps. Like a specific phrase or, Uncle Alex only picks up on Tuesdays.
So only authorized people.
Exactly. For any family, it means having a clear plan with anyone doing pickups. Make sure they know specific identifiers, and crucially, limit the digital exposure.
Like asking the school not to post photos.
Politely, yes. Or ensure they're unidentifiable if they do. The guide also mentions rotating who does the pickup, using unmarked cars. Again, the tip is use code names and rotating guardians.
It all comes back to being unpredictable. Low profile.
That's the core principle. Make your child's routine hard to pin down.
Okay, home, daily transit, kids' activities. But what about when the family goes further, like travel? How do you keep that sanctuary feeling when you're away?
That brings us to the fourth critical detail, travel security, before, during, and after the trip.
And the example here sounds pretty serious.
It is. A family flying to the Maldives,
Yeah.
private jet itinerary, leaked by a third-party booking agent.
Oh, that's bad.
Gets worse.
Mm.
When they landed, an unauthorized car tried to intercept their transfer vehicle.
Whoa. Clear sign someone knew their plans.
Knew exactly where they'd be and when. It just highlights the need for proactive intelligence, the actionable advice for high-profile families, detailed pre-travel briefings,
Assessing what?
local crime stats, political climate, even medical readiness of the destination before you even pack.
And for the average traveler,
That translates to thorough research, know the local emergency numbers, understand common scams, have a basic medical plan. Little things make a big difference.
accommodation choices matter too, right?
Definitely. Secure places, maybe private access if possible, nothing publicly listed. For you, maybe it's choosing hotels with good reviews on security, knowing exit routes, being discreet about your room number.
And the private jet terminals, the FBOs.
Right, fixed base operators. That's for the few, offering a controlled environment away from commercial terminals. But the principle, for everyone, minimize time in those public choke points, airports, bus stations. Be aware.
It makes sense.
And identify trusted contacts beforehand. Know where your embassy is, maybe have a local contact if possible. The guide's critical tip here is profound. Assume your itinerary is already known, plan accordingly.
Wow. Assume it's known.
That level of caution, that mindset, can really serve anyone well when traveling.
Okay, finally, the digital world. Often overlooked, maybe. Fifth detail. Digital footprint and cybersecurity for families.
Hugely important.
And increasingly complex.
The example here is,
Yeah.
frankly, scary. A celebrity family in Ibiza, targeted by a deepfake scam.
Oof, those are getting sophisticated.
Terrifyingly so. A video of the father, seemingly in distress, sent to relatives demanding money. Immediately.
And it looked real.
Apparently convincing enough that it caused a huge panic. Only stopped after like a 24-hour delay while they verified through a secure, pre-agreed channel. That delay is critical.
Yeah.
Shows how these prey on urgency. And it hits anyone with a digital life, right?
Absolutely anyone.
So this brings up the digital vulnerabilities affecting, well, pretty much every family now. The concrete advice from the guide is interesting. First, freeze social media during travel.
Freeze it. Like, go silent.
Yeah. And delay posting vacation photos by at least 7 days. The guide says delay posting vacation photos by 7 days. Silence is safety.
That's a good rule of thumb for anyone, really. Don't advertise you're away.
Exactly. You don't need to be famous to attract opportunistic crime based on your Instagram feed showing you're in the Bahamas.
Sure. What else?
Use encrypted messaging for family coordination. Signal, Wicker apps that prioritize privacy over standard texts or WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Enable multi-factor authentication MFA everywhere you can. And device encryption. These are relatively simple steps that massively boost your digital defenses.
Things most people can actually do.
Totally doable. And maybe the most crucial part, train the whole family. Kids with phones, older relatives. Everyone needs to know how to spot phishing, impersonation, scams.
And now deepfakes.
And now AI-generated stuff like deepfakes.
Sure.
Education really is your strongest firewall there.
Those digital insights really tie things together, showing how layered security needs to be. And speaking of tying it all together, the guide shares this really compelling real-world case study, how a threat driven by social media was neutralized.
Ah, yes, that one's powerful.
It describes this high-profile European family. The mother posted Instagram stories showing their villa, daily routines, even like the kids' school
Oh,
uniforms.
dear. Just handing out intel.
Pretty much. And within 48 hours, an intelligence network flags suspicious activity. Inquiries at local rental agencies near them increased foot traffic near the property.
So the threat was materializing fast.
Very fast.
And the response was, well, it was textbook silent protocol.
Mm.
Immediate digital lockdown. All social media paused, devices swept for malware. They updated their existing panic plan, and the family was calmly moved, relocated to a pre-vetted secure location. Quietly.
While this is happening, what else?
Surveillance teams deployed, monitoring the perimeter, watching digital channels, and local law enforcement discreetly alerted. The key was the speed and the quiet efficiency, preventing escalation before the family even sensed danger.
So what was the outcome?
Successful. Within 72 hours, 2 individuals were identified,
Yeah.
intercepted, trying to gather more intel at the school.
Wow.
No contact made with the family, they were unharmed, and crucially, they were kept completely unaware of the full threat until after they were safe.
That whole story, it just powerfully reinforces that lesson, doesn't it? Visibility is the enemy of security.
That phrase really nails it. Visibility is the enemy of security. It's not just for the super rich or famous, it's the core message here.
Yeah.
Modern family security is way beyond just locks on doors. It needs this proactive, tailored, often invisible shield. And ultimately, like Max B says, peace of mind.
Yeah,
That's not just a nice to have, it's the ultimate luxury.
it really is.
And it is attainable through awareness, through preparedness.
And that's maybe the biggest takeaway for everyone listening. Even if you don't live in international life, these principles, even the ones designed for high-profile situations, they offer really powerful insights.
Absolutely.
For your own personal security, your digital habits,
Yeah.
it's about being informed, questioning assumptions.
Mhm.
In this world where we're just overloaded with information, protecting your private space, physical and digital, it's just increasingly vital for everyone.
Well said. It's about conscious choices.
Absolutely. So as you go about your day, maybe mull this over, visibility is the enemy of security. What could that mean for how you navigate your daily life in our very connected world?